So I'm not really one to talk face to face with my webcam on my laptop in response to current events that are happening within the world. I usually just go on Twitter and read about it or hear about it on the radio or something and then post about it with a hashtag. But I think taking into account what happened over the weekend and what was announced in the news today, I just think that it's appropriate that we discuss it. I'm not expecting this to go viral by any means. That's not why I'm doing this. I just think that it's important that we understand that police brutality is not just something that's happening within the United States, despite what we all thought prior to the situation. But hearing that something has happened in Ottawa, where I reside for most of the time when I'm not at school, is just shocking, because it not only hits close to home, it hits you at home. So today it was announced that a guy named Abdirahman, Abdi, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, I apologize if I'm not doing that, he was dead in the hospital. And it's just crazy that a 37-year-old man would die in such a way. I'm not saying that every police officer in Canada or in the US have this agenda. I'm not saying that all of them are out to get every Black person out there or really target minorities. I'm not saying that at all. I think it's an honorable job, but with that title of a police officer, you really have to understand the circumstances and the entirety of the seriousness that comes with the position. It honestly should be an honor to help the people within your community. And if you're not going to do so, regardless of whether or not they're immigrants or if they're a different color of skin or if they're a different sexuality as you or whatever the fuck it is, that does not give you the right to target someone. That too, he was mentally ill. And I'm not saying that gives him a right to make a disruption within a coffee shop or whatever, but that also doesn't give you as a police officer the right to come after him and have multiple police officers come over him. I have a friend and she was really shocked. She messaged me and she said, "Oh, I'm just reactivating my social media because some really fucked up shit has happened right in front of my building." And that's when I realized she wanted to check if this was even being reported on. And the funny thing is, this wasn't even reported up until maybe yesterday even. I doubt that anyone really knew. And until something like death occurred, I seriously doubt that this would have been taken as seriously as it is being taken now. I'm not saying that this is the first time that something has happened. A friend of mine actually pointed out to not just me, but everybody online that even if we're in Canada, many Aboriginal people face police brutality, and it goes unnoticed for the majority of the people that are responding to mainstream media. It's just sad that someone has to die in order for things to be noticed. It's depressing to consider that it's so easy to become a hashtag these days. I really think that if we're all gonna try and convince ourselves that all lives matter, while they do, we also need to concentrate on which lives really need to be protected the most right now. It's just a shock that this is happening in Canada, and that too in my own city. I'm sorry. I'm getting really fucking tired of hearing every few weeks, or not even every few weeks. I guess these are just the things that are being reported, but it's getting really, really tiring and exhausting hearing about how someone is being targeted by the police, or that there's another video up of somebody being arrested or tased or whatever is happening. We talk about how Americans need to have gun control laws universally. However, how can we expect that in any place if the police officers, not even in just America now, but in Canada, are now being reported with having a lack of responsibility for their weapons, which should only be used under serious circumstances, not attacking one mentally unstable man? It's like, why Why take the position of a police officer if you're just going to use it in order to be above everyone else within your community? That's not the way it works, and it's not the way that it should ever work. Stop changing the rules. Stop bending it. Stop trying to raise your position within society, because it's not going to fucking work anymore. It's so easy to become a hashtag. And I'm not saying that I'm black and that I'm going to be targeted by the police. I don't believe that things are as terrible here in Canada as they are in the US. I think while this is a rare situation, it doesn't mean that it's impossible. It's devastating. And my heart goes out to the family. I have no idea who this man is. I know that he obviously didn't expect this to happen in this country. I don't think anybody really did if they're paying attention to mainstream media. And I don't want to wait anymore. I don't want to wait for the next hashtag and then forget about it because something else has happened in pop culture. That's what it's become at this point. It's built up to the extent in which we're so desensitized to violence, not just in regards to police brutality, but racism in general. It's almost inevitable at this point not to become numb. And while we're all becoming numb to it, that doesn't make it normal, is what I mean. And that's wrong. It's incredibly wrong, and it's disgusting. But this has to stop now. This just has to stop.